What's going on guys, Mira here, and Kokomi is underwhelming. In this video, I want to talk about some of the shortcomings of Kokomi and why I feel she's not worth pulling, especially for free-to-play players. For context, I have Kokomi at level 80 and I've been testing her out both on and off stream. Now for the players that did pull Kokomi, I'll have a guide as to how to build her on the top right corner right now so you can check that out. Okay, so there's a few things that I see are problematic with her. The first problem is her elemental skill. She only heals the active character on the team, which, in her defense, is insanely good for multiplayer, but if you're not on co-op play, then it's gonna be similar to Barbara or Chi-Chi's elemental skill, except it doesn't follow you around, so it limits you to the AoE of the skill. The healing is also about the same too, so there's really no point since it's comparable to permanent characters. The one saving grace is her talent, which refreshes her elemental skill duration every time you pop your Q, but energy recharge on her is kind of annoying to get, so I strongly recommend you guys use the prototype Ember on her to negate some of this issue. The other thing is her elemental burst. It gives her some form of damage, although I wouldn't say it's a lot, but during her burst she does some damage. The healing here applies to the whole team, which is great, but the heals on this, at least for me, doesn't quite cut it. It's a little too slow because of the low multipliers, and I don't really see myself using it that often, since the elemental skill heals for a decent amount anyway. The damage is also kind of lackluster, although her fast attack speed kind of makes up for some of it. Another thing about her burst is that she does have some kind of energy recharge problem, and although the prototype Ember might negate some of this issue, it's still relatively bad, and I personally just put Raiden Shogun with her to negate some of this issue. The other thing that's a little bit strange about her is how her kit works. Let's talk about the sub DPS portion first. With the 4-piece Heart of Death set, ideally you will want to use your elemental skill first, then go into your burst so you can take advantage of the 4-piece set effect to deal more damage. The problem with that though is that her elemental skill is only up for 12 seconds and only heals the active character, aka Kokomi herself, if you're using burst in her elemental skill duration. This is counterintuitive when you usually want to use her elemental skill for healing your teammates, so you kind of have to make a choice of either using Kokomi to heal or deal damage. The other thing is that in her elemental burst form, her healing is lackluster even with the HP % artifacts. Once again, in co-op, this is going to be pretty OP since she can heal your co-op teammates with her elemental skill. But outside of co-op, it's once again really underwhelming and counterintuitive. Now let's talk about her support build. With the 4-piece Tenacity set, you get the boost of 20% attack every time her E is up, which is great. The problem is though, you lose out on quite a significant amount of damage in her Q form that it's kind of a waste of time to actually use her Q. The plus side though is that her Q will be able to heal the same amount regardless, since it only scales with her max HP and not attack. So in essence, it makes her Q kinda underwhelming, and personally for me, I'd say it's kind of a waste of time, especially if you're in Abyss, to have her on the field with her Q to try and heal since the damage she does is pretty bad. Lastly, let's talk about some of her talents. Apart from being able to reset the duration of her E when she activates her burst, the other talent gives Kokomi better scaling on the damage of her normal and charged attacks based on 15% of her healing bonus. That, in theory, should have worked hand in hand with her other passive talent that takes away 100% of her crit rate in exchange for 25% more healing bonus. But I can't help but feel like 25% healing bonus is just so little in exchange for a negative 100% crit rate. In theory, this gives you 2 less stats, aka crit rate and crit damage, to worry about when you're building her artifacts, but it just feels like you're too stingy on her healing bonus, and her having a negative 100% crit rate is just very annoying since you have 1 less layer of damage multiplier on her. The extra damage multipliers on the Heart of Death set, elemental burst form, and the passive talents doesn't quite cover enough to replace that crit rate and crit damage. In conclusion, I'd like to sum up her kit. For solo play, her healing is decent at best, but doesn't stand out from the other permanent healers that we already have, and her damage is lackluster, at least for a 5-star limited character. I can hardly see the point in pulling Kokomi since permanent characters like Jean outshine her in every aspect of her kit, and when compared to full-on healers like Barbara or Chi-Chi, she doesn't heal nearly as much as them. The only reason I'd recommend you guys to pull for her is if you play a lot of co-op and want to help out your co-op teammates, or if you find her waifu and would like to see Sangonomiya Fish Jesus walk on water. Also, her skills are really pretty, but that's about it. So that's all the reasons why people are unhappy with Kokomi as a character. Do let me know in the comments what you guys think of her, and also if you disagree with me, do let me know your points in the comments as well, since I love to make her more useful on the team. Until then, I'll be sticking with Jean and Chi-Chi as my main healers. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.